Hello and welcome back to SUL All Stars. And remember, so we are here to raise money for charity and raise awareness for charity, so Team C's. So now we have come back from our break. We are going to be going into some games of Valorant. And so there's going to be some strat roulette happening. And so the games will be a bit chaotic. We'll get some all knife rounds, all crouching, all running. So it's just going to be a bit of fun. And so that will be very good. We've got we've got all that coming up, and today I am joined by a lovely set of casters doing some Valorant with me today. So we've got the lovely Joshua Stolen to my left, and also further to my left we've got the lovely Aaron. So these are going to be our lovely casters for Valorant today. So why don't you tell us a bit about what's going on today in Valorant?
So, hello guys, welcome. I'm back, and obviously I'm joined by Aaron here, the beautiful, the one and only Supreme. So, first of all, what a game of a league. And now we're going into Valorant. Teams switched up slightly. Just have a little rundown through the teams here. So, on the white team we have Haribo, SJ, Shelter, Faraz and Gerard. And then on the blue team we have the almighty Emre, Catty, Ruffles, Warner and Ed. So it's quite interesting to see here. Going on from last game, Emre and Catty both scoring very high. Very high scores. So now they're on the same team. So if they both win, they both get some scores, and they're going to be fighting.
Will there be a little bit of trolling?
A little bit
of
capturing,
stealing going on.
Tactical stealing.
Bit of raise satchel packs, trying to put off some aim.
You shall not go here, Catty. Emre will be on top of his game today. We all know Emre, very good player, immortal, radiant. Very good aim, amazing player. So obviously we have our high expectations for the blue team here.
We do.
Anything you wanted to add to the teams?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they cope with the strat roulette, because obviously players like Emre are used to playing within a structured scenario, used to playing within obviously a team environment and working with other people that know the exact strategy that you're going to execute. But obviously a scenario that we're in today is very different. You know, the teams have been randomized. They're not with players that they're particularly familiar with, or people that they necessarily know how to communicate with or know their playstyles with. So working on these sort of preset strategies. I mean, obviously they know what the strategies are. We're running a strat roulette system today, and both teams obviously running the same strategy means that, you know, they're going to be on fairly equal footing, but it's going to be interesting to see how quickly people can fall into that team environment of figuring out how to communicate and how they want to run those strategies. And I think it's really going to be a standout thing of, you know, who emerges as the leader of the team, who can really make sure that they get the whole team to be on the same page about the strategies that they want to run.
Of course, whilst getting the 5-point win for your team at the end is very important, we'll also be looking at the individual plays, who can like pop off here and, you know, get a couple of kills to the name, getting a couple of points to really boost their individual stats before we go into Among Us, which I think will be a big point farm. There's a lot of points that can be earned, you know, individually through Among Us. So
yeah,
let's have a little look here through the strat roulette. Obviously, there are 12 rounds of strats, with overtime as well being a strat as well. Each round there'll be an different strat that the teams have to run. It's all set. No such thing as economy and saving this game, because all the teams will have unlimited money to buy whatever is necessary for the strat roulette for that round. So why don't we just go through it here. We're going to start with round 1 with the strat We March. Players must always be moving forwards this round. Strafing left and right is allowed.
Well, it's the classic hold W, isn't it? I mean, there are going to be some players on this team that are going to be used to that strategy. They apply it in their ranked games. I mean, this is probably not going to be an unfamiliar tactic to Emre, I must say, holding down that W key. I think, you know, he could be right in his element here in this first round, and it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously movement inaccuracy depends what weapon we might see pulled out for the first one. I would expect to see perhaps some Spectres, or considering there's a full money, you know, it's going to be, you know, it's not going to be an average pistol round. It'll be perhaps some Spectres, maybe some Stingers, maybe some shotguns coming out for a full movement round and stuff like that. Exactly. So that's what I'd expect for the first round.
And it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, you have noted down the agents, what's going to be good here. Obviously, mobility agents with the use of abilities in a lot of these rounds.
A note to say, Chamber is banned.
Chamber is indeed banned.
Out. Get him out.
Because a lot of the rounds include abilities, and obviously Chamber, with one of his abilities, able to pull out a deagle. So,
yes, and an operator.
You know, it's a bit overpowered. So it has been decided to be banned this game. But obviously, movement here, you know, things like the Jet and the Rays could be very important, impactful operators, especially if you're looking for frags to boost your individual score.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the people earlier as well, and we were talking about the fact that I think Yoru is going to be really interesting as well, because coming off that same note of the sort of Chamber, you know, at the end of the day, yes, he does have those, the sort of sheriff and the operator ability in his ultimate, but also, the ability to move around the map with those anchors and the TPs works a similar way to the way that Yoru would work. And on these rounds where, there are certain factors that limit the way you can move, you always have to be jumping, you always have to be moving forwards, or, it's a hip fire only sort of round. Agents with high mobility and ones that can get out of scenarios quickly, like Jet, like Yoru, are going to be really useful on these ones because, they are sort of like these single engagement kind of fights. And so I think that's going to be interesting to see, what agents are picked up. Are people going to stick on stuff that's more, perhaps they're more comfortable with, a Sage, something like that? Or will they go with these a bit more specific picks, but maybe work a little bit better for the scenario?
Obviously, good point. Going back to the chamber ban, if we look at things like Raze and Jet, who have their rocket launcher and knives respectively for their ults, still allowed to use them during the rounds if they have them. So there's no limiting factor. If it is a knife round and Jet has a knife saved up, could be a strat. She could be saving it all game for a knife round. Then of course that would be coming very strong. Those agents fully allowed. Looking back now to the strat roulette, round 2. Never skip leg day. This is going to be one of my favourites. I love to see this one. It brings me back to the old days of CS when you used to watch the pros. They used to do a double Julie strat crouching around on Inferno. I can't remember who was playing the match, but it rings a bell in my memory.
This seems like your ranked games to me, Josh, crouching around the map, going for those lurks. Seems like he's actually up your street.
Wasn't needed, Aaron.
Yeah, it was needed.
We'll accept it and we should move on. But never skip leg day. Round 2, players must crouch the entire round. Round 3, rush, no stop. This is ranked right here. This is ranked in a nutshell. Rush, no stop. Attackers must decide on which site they want to start at the round, and they must rush. No lurking. All 5 players running at the site. That's going to be it.
That's right up your alley as well.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Moving on to round number 4, sheriff style. All players must use a sheriff. Pretty obvious. This one is my style because I one tap.
Of course.
Constantly.
Your Cypher aim.
Why am I here? Round 5. What game is this again? Players cannot use their abilities this round, so it is precise gunplay. Project A, Valorant.
Yes, because of course abilities don't kill in Project A.
Of course.
Only weapons.
Valorant is all precise gunplay.
Exactly.
So, round 6. Crab walk. This will be funny. Players can only move their character sideways. We'll have to see how that pans out. Are you allowed to rotate on the spot? Yeah, so you can stand still and rotate and shoot. So things like an AWP on this one might be quite strong for the defenders if they're able to hold the position.
Yeah.
But again, they are allowed to sprint sideways, and so
Then again, this is a good time to bring up the map that we're playing on, which is of course Icebox, which lends itself a little bit more, especially on the B side, to longer range engagements. Some of these strat roulettes, where I'm skipping forward a little bit here, but going towards the 11th round with the AWP, but you can only no scope. That lends itself really towards those close engagements, and places like the B site are going to be pretty much abandoned on that because they're just not engagements that you want to take. So perhaps for the attackers, that's rounds that they might want to approach these ones where you can only go sideways on because they are close range.
Very true. But then again, if we talk about that now, we might see them all rush B and decide, this site might be empty. So of course we'll have to see in game how it turns up. So indeed, the casted curse. We'll go around to round 7, montage time. Before players fire a shot, they must do a 360 spin. This could be very powerful indeed.
That's my style, I have to say. That's my style.
Yeah, no, Aaron with his high DPS.
Very high sensitivity.
High sensitivity indeed. So we'll see how the players do with that one. Round 8, Bouncy House. What is Bouncy House, Aaron?
Well, Bouncy House is, of course, players must be constantly jumping up and down while moving across the map. They can be static, they can be holding an angle, stood wherever they like to be, but if they are moving, they have to be jumping. And I think that's going to be quite interesting because, obviously Project A, Valorant has some very precise gunplay, so
of course.
I'm not sure, how accurate they might be, but at that point, that might be another realm where we see these judges being brought out, perhaps specters being brought out, things that lend a little bit more into the RNG.
Yep, we'll have to see. Obviously, Jet Dash updraft as well might be quite useful this round to hover in the air and have decent aim if you have the ult knives out. Just quickly go through the rest of the strats before we get into game. Round 9, knife baby. That's just only knives. Round 10, get down Mr. President. The player on each team with the lowest kill becomes the president, and if they die, the enemy team must surrender that round, basically. Round 11, AWP to drop. Obviously, you mentioned it earlier, no scoping, AWP only. And then round 12, bring out the big guns. Players can only use the Odin because precise gunplay.
Of course.
Odin is OP. So, And obviously that will rotate if it goes into you know, second half. And obviously overtime we have the shorty only, shorty-like melody, where you can only use shorties in the round. So, with that being said, we are ready now to get into game. Go to agent select, and we'll see what sort of agents we are picking. Icebox here, of course, as mentioned. Defenders and attackers. Mzuu here, the blue team, defending first. 3 out of 5 locked in. Mzuu insta with the Jet Hover. We have Catty on the Killjoy, Warner on the Viper, Ruffles on the Phoenix, and it looks like Cirque.
It looks like the defenders have discussed this a lot more. They're already all locked in. They've got the team comp sorted out, you know. The other team, not quite so decisive. We haven't got a Yoru. You know, these high mobility agents that I was talking about. Obviously, Jet, you know, Emre straight onto that Jet. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
For it.
That's, you know, the only high mobility agent I would say is on that team. We've already got a Raze hovered out of the enemy team, but remains to be seen exactly what they want to do with that.
So the Killjoy locked in for both teams already. I think the Raze would be a good agent to lock in for the attackers here, for Team Blue, for Team White. And just waiting for Gerard and Pokamoto
choose your agent.
to choose their agents. 10 seconds. I mean, will we even get into a game? That is the question. Beaten in Champ Select, it seems like.
Sage.
And a Reyna.
And a Reyna, okay.
I mean, we all know how strong Reyna is with the heal and the dismiss.
Well, it's a very combat-heavy strategy being brought out by the attackers here. You know, they have the Reyna flashes, they have the Sky flashes, and they obviously have the high mobility of the Raze. This is going to be quite interesting to see.
Just having a look here at the levels, obviously new accounts, new to Valorant for Pokamoto and for Ruffles on the Phoenix.
Look at that, 209 on Emre.
He's a big boy, high level, 10-star Mzuu. We do expect very high things of him from this game.
He's, you know, he's going to be my player to look at. To be honest, I talked to him before the game. I said, you know, how's he feeling? How, you know, is he feeling ready? Is he feeling excited? And he said, you know, he feels as if Strat Roulette's nerfing him a little bit, but you know, he's brought out the Jet. He's feeling that confidence. He must be. So I'm ready to see what he likes to pull out of the bag here.
I might see Jet ult in round number 2 or 3 if he gets a couple of kills early.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Going into round 1, we march. Players must always be moving forward, strafing left and right, obviously allowed. So. Obviously we get a beautiful shot of Icebox. 10 seconds till the round begins.
But look
again,
at this crosshair.
They can't hold. They have to move.
Yeah.
So
Phoenix is going to have to charge down mid here, it seems. But look, we are bringing out the, you know, these sort of Phantom and Vandal buys. You know, they're not the RNG weapons. They are the sort of classic weapons you might buy here.
obviously they can hold shift and walk, but as long as they're constantly moving, then it is okay.
Yeah. Look at this setup here from the attackers. They seem to be leaning towards mid here, and they want to lean in. Skyflash goes out, but immediately gets taken out by Emre on the top of the ramp. He's just jiggling that angle, you know, keeping to the movement, you know, just counter-strafing here and there. And what do they consider here? They do want to go to collect the spike in mid. The Rain of Flash comes out, and so does the Sage Wall. That's going to allow them to get up into tunnel here. But do they want to commit to it? The Sage Wall goes down, but none of them are committed up into tube. They're going to have to go and check this now, though, as they retreat back through, and it looks like they want to lean towards A here. The A site is completely undefended, except for the Viper, who's rotating over here. And if they go fast, they could catch an early engagement on this Viper before any of them are any the wiser. Reyna's off here holding mid. We'll get flashed off the angle, but nothing to be found. And look at these fights. They're about to happen in A. They're barreling into this Viper here. Viper gets a double, and they get immediately shut down. 2 frags found in mid, and it puts into an even man advantage. 2 on 2, but the Reyna is the only one left standing here for the attackers, and she is still in mid. The one mid holder now left alone after all of the team went and died on A, and it's not a favourable fight here. You don't want to be fighting Emre. And look at it, he's just counter-strafing, just tapping away towards mid, and Reyna here has just got to play the angles perfectly. They really don't know what to do here, and get shut down by the KO.
KO with the running and gunning headshot there. Very interesting. That's good old Valorant precise gunplay at its finest.
I feel like it's a phrase we might hear quite a lot in these games, precise gunplay.
Of course, because that is what Valorant was based off when it was released. Precise gunplay abilities, of course, don't kill. But that is a complete cap. We all know the strength of certain abilities in this game. So that's 1 round to the attackers, to Team Blue. Emre 2 kills, Warner 2, Cirque on 1.
And look at him, he's already on that orb. He's feeling it.
He's feeling it,
and of course, you know, this round, they have to stay crouched the whole time. Obviously, it lends us a bit of the accuracy of the orb. But, Let's look at where the attackers are deciding to lean here. We got 3 towards the B site. Reyna locking down that mid position again, but it looks like this is where they want to hit. Emre finds that first frag onto the Raze, and look at him. He's moving so slow because it needs to stay crouched.
He's bought himself an AWP and dropped it, and then bought a Phantom. So he can fall back and pick up the Phantom. That is some high level,
high IQ,
high brain stuff coming out of Emre here. As Warner on the Viper, crouching still, of course, pushing through to mid. As the attackers slowly rotate towards an empty A site. Reyna.
Yeah, the rotations are so slow here because you have to stay crouched the whole time. And look at how uncertain the attackers are here. They want to go towards A here, but you know, Killjoy's got the right idea, got the knife out, going behind the Reyna means that they can catch up a little bit more quickly. But there might be an engagement here between the Reyna and the Viper. Do they catch a timing on each other? Yes, they've gone round Maze, and does Reyna catch? No, she doesn't see the Viper, and the Viper catches the frag. Now it's when the site opens up. They've got to go quickly now, and the Killjoy is sneaking up. Does she expect the Viper's position here? She stood out in the open. No, but the Viper catches the frag onto the Killjoy. That's a disaster.
2 HP
now,
left.
Just 2 players left here for the attackers, and they're just going separately, getting farmed up by this Viper here on the A site. And look at how slow the rotations are through mid.
I think I just saw Mzuu even dashing to get closer to the site.
Yeah, of course, allowed. The Sage finds the frag onto Phoenix, and look at how slow this is. And does he find the frag onto Emre? No, he doesn't. Just the Sage left, and this is not a favourable situation to be in at all. With an AWP. Here's one going upper, but time running out, and it's finished. Another round there for the defenders.
It's an interesting one. I don't think there's any point in standing back and going for the save, because obviously infinite money, so
no
it's not
economy.
like he's losing the AWP. You know, so at the end of rounds, if you are losing it, I think you just got to full send it and try and get as many points as you can, get us a kill or something to just give you a point. Because obviously the individual score at the end of the day is what most important here. But Pukamodo on the Sage, three score so far under his name. He didn't do too well, unfortunately, in the league match. So this is a chance for them to
going to be
come
looking
back
to farm
into
some
it.
points up here.
Farm some big points, but obviously Mzuu on 4 kills, doing very strong, and surprised a lot of people, I think, when it came to league, because he gets a nice pick mid.
Obviously, this is the rush round. They've got to commit to A here. They've committed through mid. They're going to have to go through A. Raiders finds the frag onto one, and it's just the Viper anchoring on this site. They found themselves in a 2v1. If they can go quickly and trade onto this Viper, are they expecting her to be this far back in sight? The Viper's playing so passive, and they're going to want to get this bomb down, but the retake is already on. Phoenix wants to flash through, but this is going to be such a bad situation. They're going to be stuck with the AWP, and the Viper's already going to be in the position to flank. She goes down to the Raze, and now the retake is on. Do they predict the positions perfectly here? The Raze is going to play the pivotal position here to lock them completely out. But Emre seems so aware of the position. Can he find the angle on them? Not yet. His position has now been spotted. And look at it. It's just Emre left now. Beautiful defense, but they find 2 and...
Another win.
Another retake there for the defenders.
It's a good retake indeed. Shurik and Mzuu getting a good retake. I thought, the Sage wall went down into the CT. It's blocking off the main A entrance for them, and I thought it was going to be a bit lost, but I think Catty got a really nice 2-man spray down with the Odin. Buying it early before the Odin round even starts. Catty, a very prolific Odin player. He likes to bring it out. But I also know he's very proficient on the AWP. But obviously this round number 3. Sorry, round number 4. Sheriff style. Sheriff only indeed.
We were talking about this earlier. I mean, this is where the aim really shines, right? I mean, yes, you can use the abilities here, but at the end of the day, the Sheriff's only as accurate as you make it. We're gonna have to see some big plays coming out from people here. A bit more freedom.
Emre pushing hard A early.
Yeah, they want to get that information. They know that the attackers play pretty hesitant in these early seconds of the round, and look at him. He's already dropped down. He wants to challenge onto this spawn.
Gets tagged down to 50. Good shots from the attackers holding it.
Yeah, and look at this. They find one in B, and they're going to want to go off this. They're going to want to go fast down B main because it's only Killjoy, and she's got to rotate all the way into B now. They could easily get control of the site here, but they've got to be very, very wary of these flanks. It depends. What do the Viper and the Jet want to do? Jet wants to go through mid, and Viper's going to decide to go for the flank. They're going to have to go quick here. The plant is going down from Haribo now, and that means that they can play this situation. They can play the man advantage, as it is only 3 in the retake. They do also have the health advantage here, as Jet has found herself on half HP. Haribo finds one onto the flanking Viper, and now it is just the 2 site players to try and hold. The Sky ult goes out, gives them some information, and it is Raze isolated here on yellow. One shot will take down the Jet, and the Killjoy has got to come up clutch if the Jet can't make those shots happen. They go for the 1-tap on the defuse, doesn't find him off the defuse, but does take him off it, and damn, Emre collects that kill in the end, and
Crucial
get this
peek,
defuse.
really. The double
Yes.
peek. Catty holding the defuse, got it to half, I think. I'm not too sure. But Emery able to peek around the side of yellow and trade the kill that Haribo got. Good round from both Mzuya and Haribo there. Picking up some good 3 points for Haribo himself. And for Emery as well.
Yeah, Emery's showing up big so far. I mean, I have to put that down, that round down to not being able to get them, kill them when they were on the defuse there. If they were able to do that, puts it in a 1v1 and puts Emery in a really awkward situation where he's on such low HP that he'll go down to a body shot anyway from the Sheriff. And at that point, when you have to stick the defuse when there's not that much time left, it's an interesting situation to be in. And I really think that, Team White could have picked up the round there.
That was fortunate. Team Blue able to pick up their 4th round, going into round 5 now. What game is this again? Players cannot use their abilities this round. So the Sky ult, the Rainer ult, sorry, the Sky ult was used last round, but the Rainer ult not being able to use the Viper Pit, not allowed. And the same for the Rainer ult on the defender's side.
Look, A site's completely empty. It's just this hesitancy from the attackers to they don't want to commit yet. They don't have a lot of info. No Sova, nothing that can get them this info. They're not using the Skydog to clear out these sites, which means that they're just so hesitant. They're not really sure where they want to go, and the first pick has been found. They push through mid and they found the one in CT, and look at all of this info that they've gathered now. They know that they're going to be boxed into the A site here. The info is going to be switched over to the Viper, and they're going to want to stick into this site now. They're all rotating back through mid to support in A. They're feeling like the execute might come fast. But look, now they've gone in. Now the spike's gone in first, and they do find the frag. They find the frag onto the backside player, but it's immediately traded. Puts this into a 4v3, and now a 3v3. Attack low health percentage here, and the spike is loose, and they've got to go and reclaim this now. 2 beautiful frags from the defenders in the retake, and now just leaves Raze alone, and she goes down. Another retake there from the defending side, and it's looking like a snowball here. 5-0 so far.
Yeah, I think the aim on Emre and Team Blue is just out-fragging and out-holding the attackers. It's unfortunate, but the defending side here just securing win after win. They're able to rotate fast towards the site as soon as they found the information of the one in T-spawn, and you saw them as they charged up mid towards A main to sort of cut it off onto the A site, and they're able to get the frags as we are now into Crab Walk.
Your favourite round.
Players can only move the characters sideways, of course.
It depends which site the attackers want to go to here. I mean, I'd say that A is actually probably the least favourable side to go here, because it favours the defenders more if you can only move side to side, because there's so many different angles that you have to clear. B site is so much easier just to get out into the open, but they do want to commit here, and the first frag had been found. The attackers now find themselves in a man advantage. This is the first chance they've had in a while to really make some big impact, but Emre trades it right back, snuffs out the hope that they had, and now they're going to want to go big onto this site. They have to go with man advantage, and Emre finds the first in that off position. They're not using their info here. And the Killjoy ult will come
goes
out.
down mid for some reason. Very interesting decision from Catty.
Yeah, it's interesting ultimate. But look at this mobility here. Emre just wants to go fast. He's moving side to side, but I mean that favours his movement. He's a very aggressive player and wants to jiggle. Finds a lovely frag onto the CT player. Can't quite find it onto Haribo, and he executes him there, sneaking back through A. But it is just Haribo left here. 70 HP. A flash to his name.
Catty holding the B main, crouch peeking.
Oh, with the Odin.
Shuts
Shuts him down in that chokehold, and Haribo had no chance there.
Catty madness loves this Odin. You saw him just crouching behind his turret, set up on B main.
Zero fear, just stood out in the open. You love to see it.
Using his turret as protection. That was well played by Catty, able to secure the kill. And the round again.
Look at how many points Emre's getting himself here. 13 kills already.
It is a big farm fest for Emre indeed, but as we move on to Valorant next game after Valorant, onto Among Us after Valorant.
That's going to be the real big points farm.
That is where the big point farm will begin if a good imposter can get a good round as we go now into round 7. Montage time, you must 360 before shooting. Oh, Emre pops the knives. He's going aggressive, he wants this montage.
Oh, look, that's so awkward. Such an awkward fight in mid. Blind are both, and 360 comes out, does find one. Emre finds another as they're pushing through B. They're going to want to go A here, but Raze has found herself stuck at the back of the A site here, and it's such an awkward fight. Emre finds the first with the 360 AWP, and now they're stuck in the A site. They can get the plant down here. It's a man advantage. Well, sorry, a man even 3v3 in the retake, but we have seen them make them happen before. It seems that even when they're at a man disadvantage, they make these retakes work. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the angles they play here. Haribo doesn't obey the 360 rule. That's just disrespect.
in the moment, in the
Emre
heat of the moment.
goes for a 360, goes for another one, and look at him. He's just styling on him, boxing Haribo in this corner, and look at how stuck they are. They're going to let this time run down. The attacker is going to be very happy to just let this one burn the clock down and not give them anything. Haribo finds one onto the KO that was downed already, and Emre wants to go aggressive through the site here. They're so boxed in, and there's almost no time for the defuse here. Will we see Team White pick up their first round here? Yes, we will. That's their first round on the board.
It's big. That is big. Maybe the start of a comeback. All players die, of course, for Team White, but it doesn't matter. Infinite Econ. As we now head into round number 8. And with the Sage ult and Rainer ult could be used here. Round number 8. Bouncy house players must constantly jump.
While moving across the map. So this could be a round with AWPs. You know, if you want to sit stationary, obviously you don't have to be jumping while you're stationary. Could be very interesting to see bringing out an AWP. Pokemodo has decided that that's exactly what he wants to go with.
See Catty Madness with an Odin. I'm scared if they push B. Catty Madness.
I'd be worried.
Is actually holding mid. Very strong. The KO knife goes out, suppressing. Gives the information.
Emre's decided to invest into the judge here. That's when I'd be worried. Oh, goes with the mobility, but Haribo picks him out of the air. And look at them. They found themselves a 2-man advantage now. This is the first time this has happened in a while. Do they take these fights in mid? Yes, they do. 5v2. And this is the best chance they've had in a while for a clean sweep of a round. They might not even have to plant the bomb here. Viper and Phoenix find themselves at the back of mid, and now they want to challenge in mid. Phoenix flash goes out, just for some info, and the Phoenix wants to find the fight. Gets executed by the Rainer, and now it is just onto the Viper with the Judge. If there's a weapon that can make it happen, it is the Judge, but they're going to come bouncing around the corner, and what can they find? Finds one, finds the second. What's the frag going to look like on the Rainer? No, but the Rainer finds the frag, and the round is indeed over. Team White find their second round. I mean, 2 in a row.
Rainer peaks, jump peaks, and then stands still, able to spray him down. It was really interesting that round to see the purchase from the defending team. You know, they all purchased judges basically, apart from Catty Madness, who had an Odin, and you know, in theory that should work quite well. You're jumping with the shotgun, able to kind of shotgun spray down the attackers as they come close. But the attackers, on the other hand, full bore normal rifles, Vandals and Phantoms, and
yeah.
I mean, they were maybe they were able to get the precise gunplay, lucky headshots,
of course,
whilst they were jumping and moving in Val. But I mean, they take the attackers take the win on that round, making it 2 points now.
Yeah, and I mean, this game is really boiling down to the fact that, you know, can you pick the right weapon for the round? Because, you know, the same weapons aren't working round after the round. You know, we saw early on, we saw some Vandals and some Phantoms brought out for the running gun accuracy. Then we brought some, you know, we've seen some AWPs brought out for when the movement's a bit slower. Now we're seeing, you know, more towards that Judge kind of play, because when the mobility is really high, when they're moving, jumping up and down, that's the kind of thing that you want to see. You want to see those weapons that have a high area of effect and stuff like that. So I think it really is going to be, you know, what weapons selects do they pick out for these specific advantages that they need?
No, I agree totally here. As we seem to be having a little bit of an issue. 5v4, it seems like one of the players
The round has started, but one of them's disconnected, and that's going to be a heartbreak there.
It's the knife round as well.
Oh, such an important round to keep a man advantage as well, and this is going to be interesting here. They found one, puts it in even, but the Killjoy has found herself on half HP. This is where it gets really awkward here. Knife round, traditionally a very big baiting round here. Haribo's caught between 2 people and goes down. 3v4 now, and the health does favour Team Blue. They find one more, puts it into a 3v2, and now it's just the Raze. She's got to go down, and Sage has now got to save them. She's boxed into the corner on the icebox. Gets stabbed once, and it's going to take a miracle to come out of this one, and they won't come out alive. Stabbed to death before they could even get out of spawn, and 7-2.
Got stabbed by multiple people, but still survived. 7-2 indeed.
A soldier. True soldier.
A true hero. Surviving through thick and thin. But another round, knife round there. Secured by Team Blue. Making them 7-2 now. Oh, look at those kills. Mzuru 17, Warner on 10. Some big points being gained here for certain players. Of course, 6 assists for Mzuru as well, means 3 points for him. So yeah, he's really farming this game, and of course, you know, Valorant is his chance too. But here we go, going in round number 10. Get down, Mr. President. If we could have a little look at the scoreboard, we can see.
Yeah, KO is going to be the president
KO
there.
President. And Killjoy, Drowsy, the president for the white team.
Yeah, how do they choose to approach that? You see that they've walled the Killjoy in spawn. That's the way that they're deciding to protect them. just keeping them off in spawn. And look at the attackers, they're not quite sure where they want to go, but they are defending the Killjoy, just walled them off completely in spawn. And look, the KO is playing perfectly far back on the A site here, and they're both just sitting in their spawns. No engagements to be had, and the Reyna's soon going to be able to call the B site clear. She's going to want to just
interesting gameplay here. It's so weird to see.
look at how aggressive the Reyna's going. She's nearly in CT, and she's going to run into a nasty surprise if she swings this. This is not what you want to run into. First frag is Emre. That's a big scalp to take off the board, but she runs into the whole team. She's going to call the B site clear here, but the spike's going A anyway. This should be a disaster for them, because the quick rotate could go quickly to A. Raze is going the exact same route, wants to go through this Viper ult. She could catch them as they're rotating. They'll know exactly where they are, and the spike is dropped.
Dies, KO dies. That is the round. That's really a round to the attackers.
Yeah.
That's it. The defenders now must give up their life. They must give up their life. And give
Couldn't
the
protect
round.
the president. Seems as if
It doesn't look like
the Sage wall strategy did indeed come out on top.
Will they get all the kills? Yes.
Look at him. He's farming up those points. He wants it.
I mean, if the defenders played aggressive, I mean, I think the attacker's strat would have worked anyway. Just Sage walling off the Killjoy.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Doesn't get much better than that.
That is something else, but they're able to take out that round, able to get the pick onto the KO. Unfortunate there for the defenders.
Now we have an operator-only round. This is going to get good. This is the no-scope round.
This is the no-scope round indeed. Orb till you drop. We'll see how they decide the attackers to approach this. Mzu probably feeling himself ready to just dash into their face and get these no-scopes.
No-scopes only is going to put a big disadvantage on some of these players. Emre going for the style points early on. Just imagine if he'd hit that one.
Aggressive early mid-play from the defenders.
Early fights and the flash is coming through. Whoa, what a frag found onto the Phoenix ult. But it won't net them a kill. They're trying to get this damage utility out early so they can just get this damage anywhere they can, find the frags onto the no-scopes, and no kills been found yet, but all the fights are happening here in mid. No site control being going for here. Phoenix Flash comes out and Emre on the flank. They haven't quite located him yet, but Haribo now knows where he is. This is such an awkward fight, and one has already gone down for the attacking side. Emre smokes himself off, wants to push into it. One more goes down, the Killjoy turret, putting in the work there, and now we find ourselves in a 4v4. This no-scope battle continues. Emre nearly goes down, but will narrowly escape.
Let's get support from the KO.
Yeah, Haribo wants to go aggressive here, can't quite find the frag onto the KO, and it's just a volley of shots going through.
The res. The Sage res.
And they walk straight into the crossfire, goes down, and will Killjoy make the same mistake? Emre's there to back him up, and they found a chokehold here. Put the attackers straight into their line of sight, and look, they're just... Oh! Why is the collateral?
The collat! And one more on the raise, but the grenade from KO
trades that out. That was a beautiful shot, and now they find themselves in a man advantage, but look at the time. KO could deny the plant here if they're not careful about what they do. He'll hear the plant going down. What does he decide to do? He swings wide. Finds the frag! Now he's denied the plant! Raze has to go so aggressive here, and there's no way they'll find the KO. All the KO has to do is survive, and they've won the round off that.
Oh, that was so back and forth. The collateral from Reyna. We thought that maybe the attackers would win it, but no, KO denies the plant with the no-scope onto the planter.
What a hero. Hero round.
I mean, that was insane.
That was a round of heroes.
My emotions.
Gerard there getting the collateral onto the two players
Catty
playing.
and Mzuwu. Massive collateral there.
High impact kill, and then they just survived. Get able to deny it right at the end there. That was stolen away from them.
8-3 now in favour of the defenders after that clutch from Zurich on the KO. Mzuwu now, as we go in to bring out the big guns, Odin only,
here
spraying
we go.
down him.
Last round and a half, nothing here to lose, and they're just going so aggressive.
Haribo able to trade on the other side of the map.
They've only lost one here, and look at how boxed in Haribo is here. He's got no room to escape. Finds one frag, but he doesn't even see Emre on the leave, and gets shut down.
Emre said that is enough. Back to normality as he decides to push A with the jet up draft.
And here we go. Side swap, 9-3 half. Emre finding himself on 22 kills.
That is absolutely disgusting. 22 points, plus 3 for the assists, totaling up to 25. We'll have to see how those add up after the League of Legends scores have been counted, but the individual performance from Mzuwu, hard carrying early here for himself. He's going to have a good advantage over the others as they go into Among Us.
And here we go again. Obviously, the strat roulette restarts now, and then we go back to We March, the strategy, which is to say that all players must always be moving forward. And strafing left to right is allowed. So really, this is similar to the rush site, where they've really got to pick a direction and go in that direction, because they've always got to be moving. They can't be stationary. And Orps are dangerous on this because Emre finding a beautiful shot, entry onto that raise, and look at the A site. It's just defended by one here. Rainer wants to rotate over. Will be denied quick access into the site by that swarm grenade. Gives the Rainer time to rotate in, but they want to go fast off this. Pushing over the Viper wall, and one frag is found. Now they're isolated the one defender onto the heaven position. They can get the plant down on default. What do they decide to do here? They've got to push up because they've got to hold that W key, as noted before. Gerard finds one, can't quite find the second onto Catty Madness. Does he realise that Emre's pushed this aggressive into under? He will now. But how do they decide to approach this retake? 2v3 means that they're just jiggling this position, and Emre just catches a lovely shot onto the top, and now they know the exact position of the Sage. The Sage has got to push fast, and can't quite find the frag onto the strafing. Emre finds himself a 4k in that round, and he's fired up.
He is indeed. 4k. The quick scope, unfortunately, for the Sage not working out there. Pukamodo left with a grey screen of death as Emre is able to finish him off. Good round from the attackers. Fast push onto A. Obviously round 2 now. Not skipping leg date. Players must crouch. So we now completely turn the tides. Much slower pace. See where the players decide to go. Of course, talked about the mobility. AWP purchased here for the Sage. Interesting. Another one for Haribo.
Yeah.
And Mzu with a Vandal. Champion skin, obviously. Champion's coming up very soon. Very nice bundle, if I don't say so myself. Holding down the mid. Not doing anything too aggressive. The attackers get Haribo. Nice AWP shot, able to pick off Warner early. Leaving the defenders with a 5v4 man advantage. The attackers just hovering around mid.
KO just wants to sneak up here.
KO is sneaking towards A.
One swarm grenade placed on the same position it was last time means that he may be getting caught out here as he tries to go. Jet wants to go aggressive through mid. Look at the amount of info they're gathering here. They know exactly where they're playing, but the spike is now dropped in mid, courtesy of the Rainer. And now Jet is going to have to play this lurk position. There's going to be a fight happening here in Kitchen very, very soon if the Jet decides to jump up. But look at this KO lurk. The alarm bot is late, and the Jet does get found. It's just KO alone, and the spike's dropped in mid. This could be a perfect opportunity for Team White to find themselves another round. Raze goes aggressive and gets shut down by the KO, but the Rainer immediately trades off that kill, and Team White have found themselves another round.
Very, very good round there from Gerard on the Rainer. Obviously the slow peeking crouch mid strat from the attackers didn't turn out too well, as he's able to get 2 clean taps onto both the attackers. Big round from him. I thought Emre could dash in under tube and maybe cause some havoc in Kitchen, but he gets shut down by Pukamodo and the AWP on the Sage. 10 seconds until we go into the next round. Rush, no stop. Again, switching pace completely. Looks like the attackers are set up towards B. The Viper utility is down, but they only have Sky holding Haribo here, holding the long angle of sight. He's going to get walled off by the Viper.
Oh, that's such an awkward situation to be stuck in, and now they know exactly where he's playing and what weapon he's playing with. I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to push on here and just go fully aggressive. Might even try and flash through that Viper wall if they dare to, but no, deciding to play a little bit more passive around. And look at the site players now, they're rotating around. One frag found, but traded off immediately by the Killjoy. And look at them, it's just a flurry of kills there for the defending team, and this is exactly echoes of what we saw in the first round. Just these retakes flurrying a bunch of kills in, and the Skydog finally being used for the info. Finds the one player playing on yellow, and Emre is going to be playing aggressive for this swing on the defuse. They go for one snake bite directly onto the bomb. Slows down this defuse potential a lot. Rainer on the flank finds one, but isn't ready for the Jet. Jet finds the one frag, and now they've got to play so careful. They've got to play together here for this defuse. Can't find the first, but do they have enough time to defuse?
I think they have just got enough time.
Yes, they do. They've called it out, and another round for Team White. A beautiful retake and echoes of what we saw in the first half there. Just, they get control of the site, but the sweeping retakes, flurry of kills come out one by one and leaves the attackers with no more room left to go.
It was so out of nowhere. I don't know what happened to Cert, Catty Madness and Ruffles. They just seemed to drop to this Odin and Vandal that was being used on the defender's side, and Mzu and Warner not able to win the 2v4, unfortunately. The snakebite was used to try and get the defenders off the bomb, but they weren't even on it, so it was a bit of a useless util.
Yeah, I mean, Emre found himself in the right position there, but just with too many opponents on the swing. 1v3 on that swing is never quite favourable, even for a player such as Emre. And Look at him, it's just Haribo holding this B site again. The Viper wall goes up and he's got to play around it with the Sheriff here.
Yep,
Such
Sheriff
a
only this round.
difficult weapon to try and get multi-frags with, and this is where it gets difficult. He's going to hold this frag onto the Phoenix. Can't quite find that one, and Emre finds one up into Kitchen. He's going to get behind the Sky here if she doesn't go down first. Playing around yellow, and it's such an awkward fight. Blue runs out of ammo and gets immediately shut down, and it's a 2v5 here, left in the retake here. Plant goes down and the Viper ult will get activated, makes this even more difficult for the defending side to try and fight back into this. No reason to save, but Emre wants to go aggressive. Finds that frag through the wall,
wow.
finds himself a 3k in this round, and now it is just the Reyna on the flank. Position has been revealed by that orb, and now she's going to have to play around. Finds the first frag. Can she find the second? Will dodge the flash, and the team flash comes out, blinds Emre, finds the second. Now it's on. 1v3, but Emre peeks out aggressive from the top, finds himself another 4k, and he's going farming points in this round.
As the accidental clip there was used by the Reyna. Obviously cheats on to allow for the custom game mode to go ahead.
A lovely attempt there from Gerard. I can't fault that, you know.
A couple of good shots.
Yeah, lovely 2 shots, but, you know, when Emre's on the server, this kind of stuff is just becomes rather irrelevant.
When Zuru is on the enemy team.
Time to FF.
Yeah, literally. As they are 11-5 down, unfortunately, for the defending side. The white team.
Just
Not
2
doing
rounds
too
to
well.
victory here for Team Blue, and the you know, what game are we playing round and the Crab round? They both won in the last half, so you would expect something similar. Haribo doesn't quite find that frag onto the B-Long player, and they're playing a little bit more passive now. Obviously, no abilities can be used within this round. So this is going to be all fragging power here. No abilities to try and flash Haribo off this angle, and they're going to have to get... What? An ability used?
An ability
That's
was used.
illegal.
I think Ruffles there needs to be...
Reprimanded. We'll get him after the game.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
Oops, in all chat, he knows his mistake. It's fine. No more abilities will be used.
Look at this fight in mid. Oh, Haribo
gets the pick.
finds Ruffles, and that's the first frag onto the B-Long player. Another frag found, and look at where the attackers, they're
Couple of
so
missed
split.
shots.
2 mid and 2 B, and Haribo finds another, locking down this B-Long position. An absolute sniper in his nest, playing at the back, and the Sky Ult will reveal his position. Emre.
I don't know what it is. Everyone's missing the shots into him. County Madness miss. Mzui miss as well.
Oh, but look at this flank. Look at this flank. There's no way that Pokimoto was ready.
30 seconds left.
KO finds 1. Puts this into an advantage here.
Oh, but the plant.
The plant is
down
going
on A.
down. And this is such an awkward retake here. Oh, they know that Haribo's playing Snowman. Can he find this frag? It's such an awkward fight. And Emre is playing around mid. Probably will hear that. Ray, you know, playing around kitchen side, and they've locked them out here. Will the KO get caught with a knife in his hand? No, the Reyna gets caught mid-air, and Haribo finds himself a third, but shut down by Emre, and that seems like the story of this whole game. You know, some people showing up, but at the end of the day, Emre will find you, and he'll catch you out.
He does indeed. He finds him and shuts him down. But, you know, you can't fault Haribo. He's doing really well.
He's finding his frags.
On the defender side on Team White here. And he's getting the frags, and he's got those assists as well. You know, that's a good 18 points to his name from this game so far. Gerard as well with 18 points. So, you know, they're doing well for their individual score, which is obviously what is so important here, scoring individually.
Now we do find ourselves into the crab round, only being able to move sideways here. And this is going to be interesting here. Obviously, Emre performed very well in this round the last time in the first half because just of that counter-strafe potential, just tapping around these heads with the Vandal. But Gerard will find the first. Finds the first onto that team in mid. And Emre is the only sole player here playing towards the A site. Everyone else is leaning towards mid, and a frag found. That means that this man advantage here is slowly falling apart, actually. They find one, but Reyna finds one more, and 4v2 now. Puts this straight into a position where Emre is going to be one of rotating back. Viper fighting against their man advantage, puts it into a 2v3. They're isolating themselves here, and Reyna's going to have to go back for the bomb, gets caught off by Emre, and this is where the panic stations start to set in. They're set up on the B site, but the bomb's loose, and they know that Emre's the one guarding it in mid. He can't quite get onto the tube, and this is the one... Oh, it's such an awkward position to be in, and they're going to want to split A here. They know that at least the Sage was on B, and they're taking the gamble. Now the retake scenario comes in. They're going to have to start wondering when they're going to come through, and the Viper anchoring in mid here is going to be the first point of contact. Do they decide to double swing? What does the Viper decide to set up here?
Shot missed from Haribo.
Emre sees exactly where they're coming from, though, and that's going to stall them out. They don't want to push, knowing that there's an AWP stuck here. And do they check the Viper? No, they don't. But Haribo finds a lovely adjustment onto them. Now they've just got to fight the Jet. Emre's got to play time here. Can only move sideways again, and this makes it awkward for him. But look at him. He's got the advantage of the position. The AWP in heaven means that this is such a difficult scenario to play around. The Sky Flash goes out, and it won't see anything. That means it gives Haribo a false sense of security, and now it's just down to a 1v1. Emre finds a beautiful shot to close out the game, finishing it off. High impact player, I said to you.
Very high impact, 3k that round, good clean headshots there at the end. I mean, that was considering the sort of game it was, I think it went very well. It was very entertaining to watch. So I'm going to bring it back to that Reyna collateral with the no scope on the AWP.
What was your favourite round? What was your favourite strategy?
Oh, favorite strategy. Protect the president, get down, Mr. President was probably one of my favourite ones. That was very interesting. The sage wall of the Killjoy and Cyric on the KO getting picked off, unfortunately, giving the round to the white team. One of the few rounds that they got on the attacking side, unfortunately, which hurts to say, but that was probably my favourite round. But then obviously the collateral from Reyna and the clutch from Cyric.
Yeah, well, I mean, Team White were picking the rounds that Team White were picking up there were the sort of more gimmicky rounds. They picked up the knife round, they picked up the bouncing round, and those kind of rounds. But once they beginning to build a bit of that momentum, they got those rounds on the board. They were able to fight their way back, and during the second half, they got the never skip leg day round, and they got the rush round. And maybe they just arrived a little bit late into that game. The attacking side, Team Blue, were really snowballing on that first side, and it meant that they weren't really able to garner a lot of that momentum that they potentially needed. They got it towards the end of that half, and it just started to find. They started to find their footing into the second half, but it was just a little bit too late, and they were already too far into the lead.
I agree with that a lot. I think first half the attackers, Emre came out swinging, got so many early frags for his team, and were able to build quite a substantial lead early on, and then again he closed it. He started off strong and he closed out strong. I mean, what can we expect from this guy?
What more could you expect?
Emre will now be in the lead, I imagine.
Most likely, once the points have been counted and verified, I'm pretty sure Emre shall be leading the points.
He could be the one to take home the trophy.
I think could be, but he's going to be the player. In games like Among Us and in games like the last game, it's going to be very interesting to see. If people try and sabotage him now, because he is the clear front runner.
True. I think I did hear a little bit of chit chat between the players. Of Haribo targeting Emre when it comes to Among Us, so it will be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Among Us. So obviously that is later to come today. But going back to the Valorant game, I think good points all round. I think Haribo and Gerard, from the white team, a big props to them. They got a lot of points for themselves. They didn't do too well in the league game. I don't think so. That's some good points gained from them, and it's going to make the midfield of the scoring board quite competitive. So I'm interested to see who comes out, second, third, fourth. Obviously, we've still got Among Us to go until we take the top 4 into Hyper Jam. So, I mean, so far, it's so good. Loving the event so far, and congrats, of course, to Emre and the blue team on that Valorant game. Do we have
any ideas who your favourite for the top 4 will be at the moment?
I had a lot of hope that Catty would actually bring up some AWPing prowess on the Icebox game today, but unfortunately he didn't do too well. So far I'm going to have... I still think Catty's lead from League will be big enough. So I'm going to say Emre, Catty, and then Haribo and Gerard.
Okay.
Those are my top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, Emre's in my top 4. I'd say Emre, Gerard, Haribo, and I didn't see Catty's league performance, so I don't know his current standings, but potentially in that lead. But also we've had other players showing up, and Among Us is going to be the one that shakes it up the most. Any of this midfield, the positions can change a lot. Yeah,
and I mean Warner as well did really well that game as well to support Emre, so he got up a couple of points as well. So thank you guys very much for watching that Valorant game. Obviously, it was a pleasure to cast alongside Aaron.
Always a pleasure.
Dapper gentleman.
Thank you. Yes, coming full dapper mode for this event. Obviously, guys, if you would like to donate to Team C's, just go to teamseeds.org, and when you donate, make sure you use hashtag SUL All Stars to let us know that you donated. We'd appreciate it very much. But for now, thank you guys. I think we're ready to throw it back to break.
I think we shall head over to a break now. Thank you everyone for watching. So we'll come back in a short while with some Among Us. and then we'll go from there. So thank you everyone, and we'll catch you in a bit.